This conference will now be recorded.
I'm ahead of her today.
She might be
Okay.
sleeping.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here and check and see if we're all good. Share your screen. Yes. Share my screen. Okay. Oh, whoa. Hang on here. Hang on here. That is like way too small. You guys, can you see my screen okay? Yeah? Okay. All right. Oh, geez. Hang on. Where's the other button at? Hang on. Sorry. Camera viewer is detached. Okay. Cancel. Okay. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Okay, I don't know what that is, but okay, I'm gonna close that. All right. All righty then. Okay, so the first thing, let me just remind you real quick, the software version that we should be on is 1.1. Because I had to download it on another computer yesterday, so I'm just reminding you that that's what it is. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and open up your SewNet, and then we're going to go to File New. And you're going to get a blank canvas. And today we are going to, you can keep it on your Epic or your FOF, whichever one you want, but the hoop we want is the 180 by 130. 180 by 130. And the orientation for today is rotated. So go ahead and select that and then say okay to that. And I got all kinds of problems here. Hang on. Whoopsie. Zoom to the hoop. All right, there we go. Things want to be in my way. Okay. All right. So we're going to go up across the top to the Super Design tab. And we want to come over here to our categories and select all in the categories. And so down there through the two parts of the 7 and 8, it's just telling you what the different categories are. And then if you click the line and arrow on the right hand side, it'll drop down and show you, and you can scroll through all the categories. And I'll just remind you that down in the bottom right hand corner of that viewer, if you grab it down or drag it up or drag it over, you can change the size of that so you can see more of them at one time. So I want you to scroll down to Cute Animals number 3, and we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're going to find the whale. So go ahead and click on that cute little whale. And I'm on the top of page 2 at number 9. We're going to make the size of the whale 20 millimeters. So I'm coming up here in my size window and I'm going to put in 20 and then click out of there. And one thing that I learned when I did this exercise the other day was that, and she has a little note there, I never knew it did this, but if you hover in that size window, do you see how it gives you me the little drop down? It tells me what it is in inches, but it also tells me how big I should ever make it. So it says the minimum is 5 millimeters up to 200 millimeters. So not only does it tell you inches or millimeters, depending which one you're working in, it also tells you how big you should really get with it. So I didn't know that was there. I don't know if you guys all did, but I didn't know it was there.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't know it was there. So go ahead and after you do that, check apply. So it's a winner because I knew I already learned something new when I did the exercise. And that's in your little note in number 9, the last sentence. Okay. So we have our little whale there. And now we're going to go up to the top and we're going to go to the Encore tab. From there, we're going to go to the first box here, which is the shape we're going to use. So we want to click on lines. So we're going to make a line. And then under the layout, that's a standard layout. The bottom one is the mirrored layout. So we want to click on the mirror layout. And mine's already set at 6 repeats. So set yours to 6 repeats up here if you don't have it set up for 6. When you got that set, you're going to go over to the preview. So towards the right-hand side, go over there to the one that looks like an eyeball, and you're going to click on preview. So when you see that, you're going to notice that the cute little whales are outside of the hoop, right? So
So
6,
hang on 1 second.
go ahead.
The
Go ahead.
line type on the Mac is different. And I'm trying, it doesn't say what they are. It's a straight line, then 2's a curve, 3's a curve. It doesn't say mirror.
So it shouldn't be in the line type, it should be under layout. The mirror is under layout.
It's under position. It's under position.
Okay. Okay, so it says position on the Mac.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's next to type. So then they're looking at each other, which is what we want. Okay, sorry about that.
Right. That's okay. Okay, so you can see by looking at that now that it is too big to put 6 in. So I want you to go up into the repeats window and change it to 4. And it doesn't say this in the notes, but after you change the repeats to 4, you need to go click preview again for it to change. So now you have your 4 cute little whales, and we're going to use 4, but we want them to fit in the hoop. So what you're going to do is over here on this white square, we're going to grab that and stretch those guys out, but still keeping them inside the hoop. So you have some additional spacing. So when you get them how you want them, whoopsie, hey, somebody's moving my mouse. It's not me. Okay, we're going to get them the way we want them. And then you're going to go up here and click apply. So now you have them, and you notice you have your little symbols that are kind of grayed out. So we have the orange telling us it's a super design, and then those are just showing you the subparts of the group. So we're going to take this and make this into an endless design. So go ahead over to the Home tab after you've said apply. And I am on number 19. And what we're going to do is come across into the endless design and click on that. And when you click on that, you're going to see your little whales, and you're also going to see, that thing won't stay out of my way. Sorry. There we go. So I think most of you have used an endless hoop. If not, here's how it works. So up here at the top, we have the fabric direction, and it's showing us right now that it's set up to go left to right. So what's going to happen is the first thing your machine is going to do is put in these little markers. So these, it's going to put a little like a L here and a little L right here. And then you see the red ones, and it's going to put an L there and an L there. And those are your start and stop end markers. So it will stitch the start markers, it'll stitch out all your wheels, and then it's going to put those two markers in at the end. And then when you release and slide your hoop up for your next set of whales, you're going to just put your, sorry you can't see me pointing, you're going to put your needles, this guy's going to slide up, and you're going to put your needles right there. You're going to line it up right there. So you could make this cute little set of whales. I don't know. I think they'd be cute on a little baby thing. Maybe a quilt, maybe a bib. And let's see what else. So position markers, you have some selections there. You could make them so they're just left and right, top and bottom. But I can tell you that personally, I like to use all the corners and all four corners and put the spots in all four of them. So it does that all for you automatically. So go ahead and say okay to that. And now you are ready to save that design. So we're going to save it. And we're going to call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it my whales. Oops. Whales. And it's going to save it as a VP4. So that way if I want to go in there and edit it, I can later. And then I am going to export it. And when I export it, same thing. I'm going to say okay to that. And now I'm going to save it as exported. And there you go. You got an endless design as quick as that.
Why do you save it both places?
So the purpose of the plain save is in case you want to go in there and do some editing without starting over. When you do the export is really preparing the embroidery for stitching. So you saw when you say export, I'm just going to do export again. So, and we're going to do another one. You'll see it even more. So when I tell it to export at this point in time, it's going to combine. So combine my light colors. It's going to remove the overlap, color sort if need be. And if I've created something that the stitch length is too long, it'll optimize that stitch length. So that's really preparing the machine, preparing it for the machine to embroidery. Back on back when we just did the plain save, that's a place where you can edit without restarting over. Did I say that right, Judy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you always want to export. Otherwise, this next exercise, Diane, you're going to see an example of why you want to export, okay? I promise.
So could you just send it straight to your machine though? Because I usually just send it straight.
When you send it, it's going to run the export.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So like,
it's going to do it for you magically.
okay.
Because it knows it's gone to the machine, and it'll do the things we need it to do. Okay, so cancel that. All right, so Any other questions on the little whales? Okay. So we're going to do another one, and this time we're going to do a little more messing around, and you're going to get to see what remove overlap and those things do that are part of the export. Okay, so let's go ahead, file new window, and blank canvas. Let's see if it's going to go. Okay. So this time we're going to use the same hoop we used before, 5x7, and the position is rotated. So say okay to that. Now we're going back over here to the super designs again. And this time we are going to scroll down until we find transport. And we're looking for the cars. So we're going to go transport. We're just doing this one so you have to scroll through all those beautiful super designs in case you were wondering. And the very first guy is a VW Beetle. So we're going to click on him. And then we're going to set the size to 25. All right. And again, when you hover over that size button, now you see your min and max size for that particular design. So you set it to 25 and then go ahead and say, click to say apply. And now you have one adorable little bug there in your screen. And now we're going to go to the Home tab. And then in the Home tab, we're going to use the endless again. So click on that endless. And there should be 4 beetles showing up. And say okay to that. And there you have your 4 little bugs. Bugs, beetles, Volkswagens, slug bugs, punch buggy. What other names? Trying to think of them all. Okay, so now we have those 4 guys in there. Again, we got our orange handles telling us it's a super design. But what we want to do is we want to see the reveal the groups. Reveal groups is down here on the bottom of your film strip, the right-hand side. I'm hovering over it so I make sure I'm on the right thing. So go ahead and click on reveal groups. Okay. So now you see. Go ahead.
Because it's not on the home button. I'm still looking for it.
You're looking for the end list or you're looking for reveal groups?
Reveal groups.
Look in, do you have a film strip, right?
Yeah, is it that little thing in there? Yeah.
Yeah, look down at the bottom of your, well, on the windows, it's down at the bottom of the film strip.
I found it.
Okay, okay. So now we're going to go up here. Look at the film strip. You have 4 of them together. But what we want to do is we want to click on the first beetle only. So I can click on him here, or I can click on him. I can click on him on the screen, or I can click on him over here in the film strip. All right. So you can click on either one.
We can't see
And
your
now
whole film strip. I don't know if you can fix that.
you can't see the whole thing?
No, we can't see the whole film strip. It's like half of it, or maybe it's me.
Yeah, I see all of it.
Okay, I just made my screen bigger. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I need
Well,
you
believe
hard.
me, everything gets in front of what I'm trying to use, so it gets hard for me to do it too, because the meeting wants to pop up and take over the screen. Okay, so even though we have these beetles here, we can treat them individually, and what we're going to do is change the colors on each one of them. So we just did number 12. Okay. So what we're seeing over in the design tab is your colors for the first car. So what we're going to do is double click on him. So when you double click, hang on. So I'm going to double click and I'm going to bring up the color pad. And now this guy has a bunch of different colors on him. It's not just one turquoise. So I want you to click on your color pad and then go ahead and pick a color right from the quick color tab. I'm just going to start with the lightest yellow, and then I'm going to work my way over. So I'm going to click light yellow for that one. It doesn't matter what you click, but I did 2, 3, 2, 5. And I'm going to say okay. So the only thing it changed was that little bitty stuff up there. So now if you look at step number 15, it wants you to change the rest of those colors in this bug. So next, whoopsie. Next, I'm going to go to number 7, and I'm going to make my bug, basically, it's all going to be yellows and oranges. So I'm going to click on number 7, and this time I'm going to go over one more color in the quick color, and this time I have lemon. My first one wasn't lemon, was it? No, couldn't have been. Okay, so I'm going to do that and say okay. So, oh, maybe it was lemon. It doesn't matter. Okay, so now my whole hood is yellow. I'm going to go to number 8 and double click. This time I'm going to go to the gold, and this time it's nectar. Say okay. I'm coloring that car, and now I'm going to go to number 9. Same thing, I'm just moving over one. I'm going to go to gold. Okay, copper. And then I'm going to do 10. Double click. Pick your next color over. I'm going to do that one. Okay. And then I'm going to click number 11 and make my car orange just like it was in the day before somebody crashed in. Okay. So if you wanted, you could customize every single one of those Volkswagens, all those different colors within the bug. So any questions about that so far? So that took you down to number 50. I'll give you a second to color yours.
So Carol, I did not
Yes.
get that picture of the colors in the box. I'm trying to figure out if I click on that little color wheel.
Oh, yours are in the wheel. You don't have the boxes on the Mac. You have that wheel. So you just kind of click on the color you want it to take.
Okay. And then it just changes your thread colors to that range, and then you pick one of those.
Right? Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I wish I had a bug that looked like that.
I know. I did till somebody crashed into me.
So when
And
I
they
was
weren't making bugs anymore.
when I was in high school, my boyfriend at the time taught me how to drive his bug. And the only thing I remember is him saying, and apologize to anyone who doesn't like this language, God damn it, don't let the clutch out so fast. I
Oh,
still remember
yeah, I
that.
heard that a timer. I heard that a day or two. Okay, so now we're going to take this little guy that we've been working on, and you have these two arrows, or half of an arrow. You have one here, and you have one here. So what I want you to do is click on that arrow, and it will flip the guy the other direction. Okay, so we still have 4 cars, and we have one of them that's whatever color you wanted to make it, and then you have your other 3 are still kind of tealy turquoise. So we're going to pick the 3rd one down, and I could do it over on my film strip, or I could just click it right here, like so. And now we're going to go up to home, to the home tab. Well, we are on the home tab, and click on delete. And one of our bugs has just disappeared. All right. Now go back and click on the first one that you colored. Okay. And now we're going to duplicate him. So up on the ribbon bar is the duplicate. And he just popped in right there. So now when I hover over him, the one that's the duplicated one, when my mouse turns to arrows, that means I can move with him, and I'm going to grab him and drag him over like so, back in between. Into the space you created. And they're going to touch, and that's okay. It's a part of the exercise. Okay, so you could go over here and you can mess around. You know, you can just click on the different ones. You can turn them whichever way you want. You can flip him back over the other way. And what I want you to do is work on your picture and get it to way you like it. But I want you to make sure that you have one of your cars that's going to overlap another one, because I want you to see what happens when you export versus if you just save. And this really makes this is a good way to see it. So go ahead and fiddle around with those cars, get them the way you want, or get them so they look like the picture on bottom of page 4. Using your arrow keys. Okay. And don't forget, you got your rotate there. If you wanted to rotate, that's all there. If your car was hit so hard it turned over, you could turn it over by using that other arrow key. Hopefully it wasn't that bad. Okay. So I'm going to make it so they're all kind of touching each other. So that's the nice thing about, you've created this endless, but you could still go in there and manipulate it by doing the reveal the groups. So you don't have to keep them exactly the way it automatically did it. Hello? Hang on for a sec, guys. Can somebody come help the UPS guy? Sorry. All right. So now I'm assuming you have it where you want it. Now we're going to click on the endless again. Well, I didn't want you to lift it. I just want you to move the trash can so you could come in. Okay. All right. So get him in your, he said now we could, again, stitch this out as a border, say on a tablecloth for a car party or that sort of thing. It has our start and our stop. It tells us how big it is and our stitches and all that. So then go ahead and say, okay. Now what I want you to do is I want you to, go ahead.
I'm sorry. What does gap mean?
Gap is the distance between the different objects. So for example, in letters, you'll see a number that says the gap. That's the distance between the letters. Same way here. If you want them to be farther apart, you could adjust that gap right there on that endless tab. So
Thank you.
distance between designs. Okay. So let's go up to Design Player because this is what I want you to take a look at. And this definitely shows the difference. It lets me show you the difference between export and not export. So looking at the design right here, you can see that if you just let this, if you just went save and stitch this out, all these places where we have overlap, like right here, and right here, the machine would just stitch it all out and all those places would be on top of each other, which you normally don't want that when you're doing an embroidery. So that's why part of the process where you say export is where in export it says remove the overlap. So what I want you to do is come over here and click on your start button. And we're going to tell it to play. And then we're going to speed it up a little bit. And it'll stitch faster and faster if you keep clicking the speed up button. But I want you to watch where the overlap is, because you're going to see it cut out the part that's behind. Okay, you see how part of the tire is missing right here? So I'm going to make it go a little faster. See, that other tire is still missing. Now the other one's coming in on top of. And the other thing it did was it color sorted those two turquoise ones together. And you see here, you got it's not filling in the tire on this one either, because the other car is going to lay on top of. Okay, when you're done watching that, you can do cancel. So now when you go to export this design, these are things should make a little more sense now. So it said combine. So it combined the colors of the two teal Volkswagens, but it didn't combine the things on the middle one, this guy right here. It didn't combine them because the order of the stitching wouldn't work out. So that's why it didn't combine those two. So then remove the overlap. Did you see how it did that, Diane? That's why we always want to do export before we send it to the machine. So you can go ahead and say okay to that if you want to save them. Okay. So you guys have questions about that? And then if you look on your little handout on step number 24, she has a little square in there where she's talking about why you want the remove overlap and why you might not want it. But there's a nice little description about that under the tips and hints. But that's the visual demonstration of export versus save. If you did save, it wouldn't do any of those things we just watched it do. Okay. You don't have questions, I'm going to keep going.
So when we did the
Go ahead.
preview,
Right?
when we did the preview and we watched it as it did it, it was removing the overlap then, right?
Correct.
Okay, but if we had saved it or exported it before we previewed it,
No, no. If you saved it, it would stitch every single thing just like it is on the screen. When you watch it in the design player, it's showing you what it's going to do when you export it.
oh, okay.
The design player, you know, it doesn't change anything. It just is showing you what the exported file is going to do.
And the exported file had all those boxes checked. If those boxes weren't checked, then it wouldn't show you the unoverlapped. If that
Right.
makes
If you, correct. If you took overlap off, remove overlap off, it wouldn't, they would just stitch everything and you'd have all those stitches laying on top of each other.
okay.
And believe me, when the software first got that export, people would definitely bring in embroideries and say, I just stitched this out and it's horrible. And that's what happened because they had all their overlap was all there. They didn't go to the export. So all those things that you need the software to do for you or you want it to do for you without thinking about, it didn't do it. So that's what happens if you just save. You're going to have a problem when you go to stitch out. Maybe. You know, it's optimized when you run it through export.
That's the important
Without you thinking,
information.
without you thinking about doing all that. So yes, it's important.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Okay. So we got one more to do here, I think, and it is we're going to use the splitter. Okay. So let's go get another new blank canvas. Blank canvas. And this time we're going to do something that you probably have not done before. Some of you have, but we're going to make a hoop. So we're not going to pick something out of here. We're going to go inner hoop size. And our hoop size is going to be 500 by 200. And before you ask, we're not getting a hoop that size. Because I know somebody's going to ask. That is not what this means. Okay. Now we're going to go to the letter tab. And we're going to use the drop down window and see all our fonts. And I want you to scroll, and it's actually up towards the top. And I want you to find Athletic Outline Patch. and it is in the category of applique. Okay, so it's probably the very first, very first one. Alrighty, so the size, we're going to click on the athletic outline patch, which is this guy right here. I might be kidding. Hang on, I'm getting myself. Okay, this guy right here. Sorry, just kidding. All right, so click on him. And just a reminder, you notice over here where it says athletic outline patch, and it has UC 35 to 70. A reminder that the UC means uppercase. So it doesn't matter what you type, what kind of letters, small or capital, it doesn't matter. They're still going to come out as uppercase. So the hardest part of this exercise could be spelling university up here in the typing in the box. So go ahead and type in university. And, oh, I think I missed the size setting. Hang on. And set your size to 55. And then go ahead and say apply. And you should have the word university stretched across your very long hoop. All right. So let's go back to home. And this time I want you to come over here right beside the endless, and you have a little icon called split project. And I want you to click on split project. Okay. So on page 6, you have quite a description of what these different the different ways you can split a straight slit, yeah, a straight split, an intelligent split. Oh my goodness. Alignment, style, compensation, and connection. So overlap is, if you're looking at your screen, this area right here that's kind of shaded, those are the area, that's the available area that you have to manipulate your design around if it were to split at that particular place. Sometimes an intelligent split, the software will pick the best the software will pick the best path to split it. If you use straight line, it's just going to go straight down through and cut, and it doesn't care what's in the way. So depending on what design you're using is going to dictate really which method you want the software to split it in. And so I'll let that for you to read in your leisure, but what I want you to do is up here where we have the hoop size, right now it says 260 by 200. So if we stitched out this university, it would take us 3 hoopings to get it based on that. So let's go ahead down here to change hoop. And I want you to change it to 360 by 200. 360 by 200. So I'm going to change it to that. And that's all I need to do there. And then say okay. And now we can see that we went from 3 hoopings to just two hoopings to stitch out this word this size. So go ahead and say next. And then over here in the view part of it, you can scroll through the two sections. So I'm looking at this and I got a really clean cut right here on the second section. So really, this is probably what I would stitch this out in, because it cut straight down through. So I would go ahead and call that good for this particular case. But let's go back for a second. So go back one. And now let's go ahead and change the hoop to 241.50. 41.50 and say okay. And you can see here it changed it into back into 3 hoopings. And then if times were really tough and you still only had a 4x4 hoop, you could stitch it out like that, and you could stitch out that word in all those hoopings, and that, geez whiz, that wouldn't be fun at all. So let's switch it back to the 360 by 200 again, because that's going to be your easiest way to get through it. And it's going to put some placement marks in here for us. Let's go ahead and say next. And you could go ahead and print those sheets out right from here. So when you have it the way you want it, you go next. So we haven't saved our embroidery. Do we wish to proceed? Yep, I want to proceed. And then we're going to get to the little print tab, which she's not showing up. But you could go over here then and print the whole thing out, and then you can tape them together. But you guys have precise positioning, so you probably wouldn't need to do the printouts, but you can do the worksheet printouts with all the details if you wanted. And it's really, really not too bad at all. So we're going to say finish. And then we would go ahead and export the design, and it'll export it into 2 parts. And so there you go. Color sort. So in the case of this, it automatically changed your settings at the export point. It got rid of the combine, and it took out the overlap. So it did that automatically at the export tab. And the other thing you see, say you wanted to do this with felting, you could check it here and it would reverse the design for you without having to do anything to it. So we say, okay. Make it university. And say export. And then I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And see if you guys have any questions. So you guys have any questions on that?
That was fun.
I mean, I know a lot of people have never used that splitter.
No, never. I've never split a design. I
Yeah.
need to try that. Or do something big, I guess.
Yeah. And there's another tool called the design aligner where you can go in and manually click through the design and put the points in yourself. But this one let the software do it pretty much automatic. Because the intelligent is fairly intelligent, intelligent, but sometimes you still need to help it. Questions? So,
Pretty nice.
yeah, it's pretty slick. I love those little bugs. There's so many designs in there really that we never even touch them. Okay, so like I said, they haven't posted the next part of the owner's class up there yet, but I did read at the bottom of page 7, it says, join us for class 4. Make sure you're signed up. They haven't posted it yet. So anyway, once they have it and I get to get it out in practice, I will put the next ones on the schedule.
It was
But
a
the other
busy
thing we do,
day.
Bonnie, since this is your first time, is we do a class. We do software club the 3rd Friday of the month, where these are more like owners classes.
There
So
were
does
some
anybody go
there were
ahead?
some classes going today. There was they were making a passport cover, but it was all for Sew-ciety.
Oh yeah,
It was a 3-day class. I think it's going to be recorded. And then Mickey Hudson was doing a class on design positioning. I mean, this could be all you ever do. I'm like,
that is true.
yeah. I was like, oh, I got to switch over to learn something else. It's awesome.
But the one thing that I like to remind people is when you're back to traveling again, you can't always take your sewing machine, but you can probably always take your laptop. And that's a perfect time to go through your exercises and just, mess around with your software because you don't have the sewing machine to distract you.
Good thought. We're going to Vegas
Yeah.
next, so I can play on the plane if I take my laptop. That's a good idea.
Absolutely.
Who needs
Yeah.
to watch a stinking movie, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'd rather play in my software.
Good idea.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I got for today, guys.
Nice, Carol. Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Top of my bucket list.
Bye-bye. See you all
Thank
soon.
you. Thank you,
Bye.
Carol.
Thank
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Carol Foss. We miss you.
Thank you. I miss you too. I'll see you in a month.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.